Greetings. This is Griff Ruby, a Nostalgia Catholic, with another one of my Asimov story reviews. This one is contained in this July 1940 issue of Future Fiction. His name and the story name are not on the cover. That is another story illustrated on the front. But he does have the story there. And I'm realizing I just put this together wrong. It's okay. I can fix that now. And he's got a story called The Magnificent Possession, which isn't very magnificent, but in fact, in my opinion, I think it probably it represents the lowest nadir of his literary skills. So here's our table of contents. And you can see The Magnificent Possession there by Isaac Asimov. Fine print there in the table of contents reads, alright. After many patient years of painstaking experiment, Walter Sills makes the discovery that promises him great fame and $1 million. But success is no bed of roses, as Sills finds out. Trouble and terror threaten from every side. Yeah, I guess so. Well, we'll see about that. And then when we get to the actual story, we have one more piece of artwork. The little captain, which reads, "My God, watch out! It's nitroglycerin." Another description here. Walter Sills labored for years as an unknown laboratory worker, but at 50 he makes his great discovery. Fame, riches are to be his fate, until interference looms up in the form of a few unlikable characters and nature herself. Okay, so it comes with a nice piece of artwork here. Let me get this shown. Now, you might notice there's a small object falling down. The bad guy, kind of a unsavory character, bumps into something, it falls. He's holding a gun on everybody else, and suddenly he shouts, "Watch out, that's nitroglycerin!" Which, of course, scares the bad guy pretty bad, and they can grab the gun from him. And you kind of see there's a bald guy in the foreground kind of pointing at it. Our genius apparently is bald at the age of 50. Above him is his assistant, Gene Taylor, and then there's a couple other guys there besides the slimy guy, which are also kind of slimy and ridiculous names that we'll get to shortly, because I guess everybody wants this invention. And what is the invention? Well, he's playing around with something that, chemically looks like gold. He's trying to make a metal out of ammonium, and apparently he finds some way that it not only seems metallic and reacts in some ways like a metal. You can even use it to plate something like a metal, as he later discovers. And it looks like gold, like even more gold than gold. And so I was like, oh, this is this great invention. You're going to make me really, really rich. But he doesn't really do much experimenting with it. He just looks in there through the glass of whatever little test tube or whatever he's got it in, and there it is, and it looks beautiful. And so he said, goes to press with this thing, and everybody knows what's going on, and everybody reads this paper, so he puts down the paper that I got to get that gold. We got several characters. We were first introduced to a J. Throgmorton Bankhead, some big business guy. Then we're introduced to a Peter Quintus Hornswoggle, a senator, I guess, a congressman. They call him senator at one point, but his only experiences seemed to be something where he was talking to the house. So I'm not quite sure what part of Congress he's supposed to belong to. He didn't make it through the previous election, though. Anyway, with a name like Hornswoggle, you know it's meant humorously, and I guess in an unintentional way it is humorous. But when humor is that unintentional. And then there's a Michael McGuire, or known as Mike the Slug. There's a nice savory name. He's a gangster type. That me. I brought you the evening sheet. You still thinking of Bragoni I'd pull the job? Yeah, the cops still thinking that. Yeah, okay, think good. What new, man? Anything else? Nah, some Jimmy Dan killed herself, but that's all. You know, it's... Yeah, Brooklyn slang, very gangster slang, very badly done. I mean, they even refer to a gun as a GAT, G-A-T. I've seen that sometimes, and it's kind of an odd expression I've only recently come across several times, and it's kind of strange to see a gun being called a GAT. But they actually say that. I didn't note any textual differences other than it has several chapter headings. It doesn't start one off with a chapter heading, but there is a chapter here. After we've been introduced to Michael McGuire and his sidekick Slappy. Okay, Mike the Slug and Slappy. Yeah, that sounds like a real savory pair of characters. We have a little caption here that reads, "A night of trouble." And after that follows with, "Walter Sills was happy. Deliriously so, he walked about his laboratory, king of all he surveyed." Okay. And, well, I guess, well, we have the night. It's like everybody tries breaking into his house. Everybody, or at least the representatives do. Mr. Bankhead sends somebody, but Hornswoggle and Mike the Slug both decide to try to invade the house personally. And they all get caught. And as illustrated at one point, Mike the Slug's got the drop on everybody, so to speak. And so, I know there's another one. Unexpected surprise. I'm missing. Ah, yeah. That was okay. Hey, Sloppy, there's a night of trouble. Walter Sills was happy. That's the first one. Then, this is the third one. Maybe there's another one. Okay, anyway. No, there's okay, well. And then there's an unexpected surprise. As Walter Sills rattled across town towards his bank, he found no reason to change his wish. By this point, he's wishing just to sell this thing off to somebody and let them worry about it from that point on. Which, given everything that's happened, is a fairly understandable wish. So, and what does he end up doing? Well, he does have one mildly clever trick. He comes up, he's going to put it in the safe deposit box at a bank. But before he could walk in the bank, Mike the Slug and somebody else, presumably his sidekick Slappy, jump out of, I don't know what, bushes or something, grab him before he can walk in the bank. And they try to get it from him. And he's okay with that. He just pretty much hands it over. Only what he hands over was just a fake solution that will do nothing but make it explosive. You know, that he has it in his vest pocket. Here it is. Turns out his assistant, Taylor, had it hidden in his hat band, and they just put that away, and we're safe. Yeah, I guess you could call it one surprise. Well, the other surprise is they decide, let's plate a spoon with this stuff. So they go ahead and plate a spoon with this thing. And the spoon looks really nice. Like I said, plated with gold, only if anything, even better looking. And then, at the last moment, they pull the spoon out of whatever test tube they've had it in, and it stinks. Boy, does it stink. Almost as much as this story does. I mean, it's bad. And everybody's running away from it. I mean, everybody just down the whole street. It's just all, what is that smell? They're coming out of buildings and saying, oh, let's get out of this. Let's go away from here. You know, they want to burn their clothes after having it around. They want to, clear their nose. I mean, just all this stuff. It just smells so bad. And I mean, you got everybody humorously running away from this thing because it stinks so bad. And well, when they finally trace the trouble to the spoon and find out who made it, I'm afraid we'll be sued, maybe even thrown in jail. Oh, I wish I'd never even seen the damn stuff. His tortured spirit gave way and he sobbed loudly. So, it all ends with, well, let's go back. I think they've managed to remove the spoon by now. Okay. Yeah. The good news is, I think it'll be uphill from here. Not that all stories will be great, but I think this one probably is the nadir of his stories. Anyway, next we'll have better stories. Well, thank you for suffering through this one with me.